Yeah, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along with you on the way. Jim Coyle sitting in here on this cold, blustery day in the frozen tundra. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Hope it's warmer up there than it is down here.
I'm just sitting here thinking, as you say, thanks for taking us where you're going. I'm hoping nobody's going anywhere. Hopefully you're sitting in their house listening.
Unfortunately, most people don't get to not go to work because it's cold.
That's true. Well, the snow causes a little bit of issues.
In my day, you went to school even if it's cold, we still went to school.
Uphill both ways, 5 miles.
I got to tell you, I saw this thing about there was a petition circulated at IU to cancel classes before, like on Sunday, Monday, it was coming, whatever. And I'm like, what a joke. That is your generation again. That's your people, man. What the hell is wrong with you all? You got to circulate a petition because it's going to be cold.
They're 10 years younger than me.
Why
I'm arguing
don't they,
different generations.
Do they really think that a petition is going to be the reason that they cancel classes because it's cold? Are you serious? Wow. What a bunch of pansies we have in this world now. Pansies! Gee whiz! I can't believe. Yeah, it's cold, but daggone. What a bunch of candy asses.
Yeah, classes at IU don't get canceled, but maybe once or twice every 20 years.
It never happened to me, and I got news for you. It was cold as hell.
It happened to me once, and I don't think it was even weather-related.
Candy asses. The world of candy asses. Swear. Let's get to the headlines for the candy asses.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 30th day of January 2019. Anthony Davis was fined $50,000 from the NBA for his trade demand. In Big Ten action last night, Michigan defeated Ohio State 65-49, Maryland over Northwestern 70-52, and Wisconsin beats Nebraska 62-51. Indiana men's basketball set to take on Rutgers tonight at Rutgers at 7 p.m. Those are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this January 30th, 2019. For more information, make sure to go to thedailyhoosier.com.
Don't talk about the NBA much other than the Pacers, but there's been a lot of talk about New Orleans. Anthony Davis, their big man, demanding a trade. You just talked about him fined $50,000 for publicly saying that, which
it's so stupid.
Well, it's funny, but what's the difference between that and I'm hearing today people talking about Kyrie Irving is wanting to reunite with LeBron. Well, how did that get out?
Right.
You accidentally plant it. It's the same damn thing.
I don't know. What's the point of fining people for that, though?
Everyone gets a trophy, Joker. That's right. They can rub on their trophies in their houses. They don't have to go out because they signed a petition. I don't even get started on that rant. But anyway, New Orleans, they get on Houston last night. Anthony Davis didn't play. Not only did Anthony Davis not play, 5 out of their top 6 scorers did not play. And New Orleans beats Houston. The Rockets, who are trying to rise up to take on the Warriors in the West, lose to a New Orleans team without 5 of their 6 top scorers. How's that possible? They lost to the bench. How's that possible?
Oh, and James Harden's shooting 11 for 32. And you're only getting, I think, maybe 15 points out of Chris Paul. Or no, 10 points out of Chris Paul. Yeah, you're not going to win.
No. But that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a little chilly out. A little chilly. There's no way of... Now, I'm not saying it's not cold, but I'm not sending a damn petition out. It's cold. I got a petition for somebody else to go start my car.
That'd be nice.
It would. Well, they have automatic starters. I just don't have one.
True.
That is. But it hasn't. It's going to. Okay, we're going to have this Arctic blast for 2 days. And it was going to be, 60 degrees on Monday?
63.
63.
80-degree temperature change in like a 5 or 6 day span is what I saw.
80.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you factor in wind chill, because we're going to get like -10 today.
So it's going to get worse?
Well, no, I mean, it may be the coldest it's going to be right now, but I didn't feel the wind.
I hope it does not get worse.
I don't think so.
I'm not into that. I'm not into freezing. But I'm not going to send a petition about it. Jack wagons.
It's like our show title yesterday after we put it online. It's about as cold outside as Indiana's 3-point shooting.
Did you like that?
I like that.
I like that.
I thought that was quite funny.
And Jake put the picture up. I was like, oh, that's funny. That's funny, Jake. Jake from State Farm, man. He takes care of the IT. Jake Drescher, he kills it.
Does it right.
Every time. Cracking me up. Hit us up on the text line if you wish. 812-989-6. Oh, shoot. That's almost. Woo. Oh, that's funny. Almost gave a number I did not want to give out. 812-269-6367. That was funny.
That'd have been a great start to the Wednesday.
Wow. Almost gave my personal cell phone number out. That's hilarious. My brain's frozen. The movie Frozen, that's my brain today. I can't. It's bad. It's cold out there. But I was not expecting the snow.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Usually when it gets Arctic cold like that, you don't get snow either, but we got both.
Yeah, you and I both talked about it before we came on the air. I mean, we knew the cold was coming, but definitely not the snow. So I woke up and it's like, damn, I'm going to be late.
And it did more damage than the big snowstorm of last week where we were getting, 6 to 8 inches? Yeah.
Probably our biggest snow of the year, and we didn't know anything about it.
Well, yeah, I was clueless. I found out in a hurry, though. It didn't take me long to find out. Went out to start the car. Hope you're having a great day. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Can Indiana get off the schneid tonight as they travel to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights? Never thought I'd say that a road game at Rutgers would be a must-win for Indiana, but tonight's road game at Rutgers is a must-win for Indiana. They have got to get off of the schneid. They've got to stand up. And if they don't, they have nobody to blame but themselves. Not Archie Miller, not Tom Crean, but themselves. You either play or you don't play. You either want it or you don't want it. You're either competing or you're not. You're either picking up your shoe off the floor while another guy scores or you're playing basketball. Unfortunately, it's been the former, not the latter.
Yeah, and not only is tonight's game a must-win, but it's a game that you don't anticipate when you go to Rutgers being a tough game. But tonight, it's going to be a tough game.
Every game in the Big Ten's tough.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke anymore.
Right.
Rutgers has already beat Ohio State. Ohio State it was Wisconsin goes on the road, beats Nebraska at Nebraska, a place where they did not lose last year. They're better this year, but they've lost twice at home.
Illinois smokes Maryland, and then Maryland comes back and beats Northwestern by 18. It's a weird year.
It's a tough conference. Joker went on a frozen limb here. Hoosiers come out with some heart tonight and win. Praying that frozen limb doesn't snap. Well, I'm thinking that. Of course, I thought that they may stand up against Michigan, and they just laid down. See, that's the thing. They're just laying down. Yeah. Social media, I'm done with it. My God. You people are idiots.
Prove it. Delete your accounts.
Well, I ain't that dumb. There are some idiots out there. I mean, straight up idiots. People that just are as clueless as they can be. Just want to grab them and smack them and say, "Shut up! Stop! Don't do it. You don't even know what you're talking about." People are so lost in this spot. Oh, and here's the thing that's really gripes my butt. I'm seeing twice now. Yesterday, I saw two people promote a false statement while complaining about fans' negativity. This one guy, well, I forget exactly what the post was about, but it was not accurate. Not even, but they didn't bother to check to see if it was accurate. It would take in 10 seconds. First of all, did the information come from a news source? No. Did you check it to see possibly if anyone had another news? No. But while you're complaining about the negativity of the fans, you were sitting here promoting and posting a false statement that drew tons of negative responses against the kid that they were speaking about on this false statement. And I'm like, you're a joke. You want to sit here and complain about negative? You're the freaking problem. You are the problem. You're one of the problems. These people are the problems. They're so dumb. Everybody thinks that they're an expert. They got it. Oh, let me tell you, I'm not an expert, and I work in this field every day. All I do is talk to people in this field.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That's the issue with social media these days, is it's given everyone the mindset that they can be a reporter, and they want to be the first one to post it. They want to be seen. They want to get the spotlight.
Oh, I know, and there are certain people on fan pages. I don't know, my God, how they function in life. I swear. They sit around waiting for any little morsel of thing that they can try to be first on, and it cracks me up because I couldn't care less about being first.
Right.
Because you know why? Nobody remembers it anymore because it's so everywhere. I don't even care. But these people are just obsessed with it. It's like it's their life.
Maybe.
I'm not going to mention. There's a couple particular really, really crack me up, and then they think that they're an authority on Indiana basketball.
Everybody listen to me. I'm right.
Yeah. Cracks me up. These people are not very intelligent. They're not very informed, but yet they think they know it all. Social media is a cesspool right now. It is. Yeah. I'm going to try to do my best to stay away.
Good call.
It's maddening. It's maddening. We got to take a break. Plenty coming up on the show today. Matt Weber's going to come on. We got a lot going on in football, actually, man. Seeing lots of offers go out here of late. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat. Back right after this.
First I limped to the side like my legs was broken, shaking and twitching, kind of like I was smoking.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
Joins us as he does each and every week.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you can fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
All my friends know the low rider.
And he's with us now, our own low rider, Chronic Hoosier. Chronic, how are you, my brother?
Man, it's a cold week in Bloomington. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah,
dark and cold.
I got a cold heart. Cold Ethel. It is chilly outside. It's kind of like I use basketball right now, a little cold. Hopefully they can get the heat turned on and get out of this funk they're in, man. A 6-game losing streak. But the more I think about it, boy, we kind of got sucked in a little bit. They're just not quite as good as we thought they were. You add in the injuries and it's an easy recipe for what we have right now. But I think the thing that's getting people, Chronic, is a lot of people don't either. They're not seeing a perceived effort, which I'm not sure that that's true or not. I can't say, but it sure seems that way, and that seems to rub people the wrong way a lot. But it's easy to find things wrong when you lose 6 in a row.
No, unquestionably, and I think we're almost getting into a chicken or the egg argument right now when you look at what's caused this slump that the Hoosiers find themselves in. It's very clearly a crisis of confidence right now. There is very little confidence evident in the way they're playing basketball. You heard Archie say it. First words out of his mouth at his press conference. This team is soft, and this team is playing scared, and it's a dangerous combination. And you throw it all into the mix. You add in some injuries. You add in, a heavy reliance on underclassmen. And then you find yourselves the loser of 6 straight, getting ready to go on the road tomorrow, and then come back and go play in one of the toughest gyms in the nation on this weekend in Michigan State. It's a dangerous spot right now for the Hoosiers. It's a very, very dangerous spot. I think when you look at the without getting too terribly deep into the psyche of these guys, they're shook right now. There's clearly something going on between the ears. You see it reflected, pretty much in every facet of the game. But, look at a 55% free throw percentage against Michigan. I mean, 55, you're in Shaq territory. As a team, you're shooting on par with one of the most infamous, awful free throw shooters ever.
Shaq-licious.
Ever.
Yeah, it's that's funny. Shaq-licious. That's bad.
But you know what though? I mean, I think it's a telling stat, because this is something that these guys have done tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times over their lives.
I was
these
just
guys
talking
can
about
shoot free throws. This is something that is indicative of something else going on in their heads right now. I've said it 100 times. I'll say it 1,000 more. Because it's true. This is like putting. It really is. The muscle mechanics are there. It's the ways in which your mind gets in between what you're trying to do and what the body actually acts.
Great analogy. And that's the best analogy I've heard yet on this. That is, putting is so mental, and that's what I was just talking about that before we came on. That the free throws. I said it's not mechanical. Their problems are not mechanical. Shaq's a great example that you brought up, because his was mechanical. He had some mechanical, just terrible. These guys are not mechanically flawed, so that leaves one place, and that's between the ears. I agree 1,000%, and I don't know what that is and could be, because they shoot 1,000 free throws in practice. It's not. Everybody keeps saying, "Well, teach them to shoot free throws." They don't not know how to shoot them. It's something's going on. You're exactly right. And how do they fix that? Stop that, because if they don't, they're already on the backside of missing the tournament. It's going to be a struggle to make it now. So just finishing the season on a strong run with a possibility of making the tournament, because they do have 6 out of their last 9 games at home, it's still a possibility, and you can't just throw in the towel. But they've got to make changes. They've got to make them right now. They have to win at Rutgers for there to be any chance of a turnaround, in my mind.
This is where it gets particularly challenging, I think, for the staff right now, because you start to get into some of these issues with the player's psyche. You get into the individuality of each of them. Not everybody's going to respond the same way. I've been wondering for a while now if some of the buttons that Archie's been using has become acclimated to using in practice. It may work on some. It may well have an opposite or a different effect on others. That just in general. But when you get into stuff like what's going on now, it just makes it that much more difficult to really pinpoint the ways in which you can get it. I think more than anything, it's going to take somebody stepping up. Somebody's going to have to lead this team out. I don't think the staff necessarily is going to be able to do this on their own. When you really comprehend where they are at this point, what's at stake, I can't imagine I ever would have said that a mid-Big Ten game in Piscataway was really going to be a pivotal point where they could absolutely turn a season. But here we are. I mean, honestly, this is one of those games that they cannot afford to lose if they want to maintain any hopes of playing in the NCAA tournament, and especially staying out of the Wednesday bracket and the Big Ten tournament for that matter. They've gone from the top third of the league to now they find themselves right at the precipice of the bottom third. There's worse teams in the league than Illinois, at least as far as the win-loss column. Statistically, than Rutgers in terms of win-loss column, being Illinois and Penn State. But, efficiency-wise, Rutgers is going to present them the best chance they have left throughout the remainder of the season. So even though it's a road game, even though Rutgers is semi-ascendant, if that's even such a thing, it's a must-win if these guys are going to find a way to salvage something. And I think it's going to have to come from somebody, probably not named Juwan Morgan. From what we've seen this year, Juwan has been pretty steady in his leadership for the most part. The problem is those shoulders are only so broad. I mean, he can only lift up so many guys. It's going to have to create a spark in some other players. That's going to have to ignite some other guys. There's got to be some synergy for him, and it's going to have to happen organically within the locker room if this thing's going to have a chance.
Yeah, one thing we talked about, this team, I talked to Don Fisher about it yesterday, they don't seem to have a leader. No one is stepping up to lead the team, not just to lead them on the court, but lead them mentally to be that guy that's not the coach and that pulls them together. And he talked about Juwan Morgan is just not a yeller or that kind of a guy, but he tries to lead in a different way. But this team doesn't have someone who's just really grabbing them and trying to wake them up. I mean, Al Durham may be kind of close to that or trying to get to that, but he's a sophomore. And I talked about Al earlier. Al's one of those guys that he's a guy, I don't think you could question his effort this entire season. He has really played every game in. He tries. I don't ever see him trying to do anything but really put forth a great effort. And Don mentioned him as being probably the only gym rat on this team from the conversations he's had, that Al's the guy that goes in and works harder than the other guys, that is being close to being a gym rat that this team has.
No, I think that's spot on right now, and I think when you look at the composition, the overall makeup of this roster, there is absolutely a lack of leadership, but part of that's just baked into the actual roster. When you look at the way that this team ended up becoming what it is now, I mean, really going back to to Juwan Morgan's recruiting class, with him, Thomas Bryant, OG Anunoby, that was on the heels of a class that had a couple of high-level guards in Rob Johnson and James Blackman Jr. But since then, the only guard that's come in that's now an upperclassman is Devontae Green, who's currently sitting in suspension for not being able to maintain the team standards. So in the backcourt, at least, that's your leadership baked in right now as it stands. And it's put all the other onus on Al Durham, on Rob Tennessee. There's nobody left to turn to when it comes to that part of the locker room, the backcourt, the guards, to really look towards. I mean, your one guy is sitting in street clothes at home on a suspension. You know, Curtis Jones was part of that class. He transferred out. There's very much a leadership vacuum that's already inherent in this team and the way it's constructed, the imbalance of the roster. We knew it was going to be a really, really young team, but just seeing now how detrimental that's been, is you got these guys who have never found themselves in this position before. You know, Al Durham, I think it's apparent the way he plays. He's trying really, really hard. You see Al, you know, he's been pretty consistently invested on the defensive end. You know, I still think at this point in the season he's trying to find out what his role is on the offensive end. But when you look at the way this team has slumped of late, I think it's been most apparent defensively. And Al seems to have been engaged pretty much throughout it. At the end of the day, too, there's a certain ceiling that, you know, this is going to be the maximum of Al's potential. And I think he's still got, you know, there's more headroom above him as it stands. But when you look, what was Al really likely going to give you at this point in his career as a sophomore? I mean, I don't think anybody ever in a million years anticipated that Al Durham would be your team leader halfway through his sophomore season. I don't think that's fair to ask of him. You know, I'm not lowering the bar, but let's just accept it for what it is. Rob Tennessee, I think he's going to be a tremendous point guard for IU over the course of his career. I don't think a lot of people would have pegged him as a starting point guard on a Power 5 team coming straight out of high school. But that's the role he's been thrust into, and he's doing his best there. You know, those are two guys in a group of many. But it's just a couple of examples, I think, where in absolutely critical play as you look at where IU struggling in the backcourt to be able to knock down shots, convert at the rim. You know, these guys are just, it was already going to be an uphill battle for them. But when you throw in a crisis of confidence like this, they don't know who they're supposed to turn to, who's lifting them up. There's really nobody else there. I mean, like I said, you know, the one guy that should be there, he's in street clothes right now. So it speaks volumes about how we got where we are, I suppose.
Well, the $64,000 question is these teams have they've seen a good portion of Indiana's season and watching Romeo do what he was doing and able to do and the work that Indiana was getting done in the paint, but not from the perimeter. So everyone is backed off and packed her down low and have shutting these passing lanes down, shutting the driving lanes down. And with Indiana's inability to knock down shots, it's made them a one-trick pony and not a very good one trick. And so what do they do to fix this if they're not shooting the ball? How can they alleviate having the paint all packed, bogged up when they can't knock down shots? I don't know how they're going to get around that.
You know, at the end of the day, you have no control over how the other team schemes against you, and this is an incredibly well-scouted league. You know, everybody basically plays, especially once you reach this point in the year, your playbook's wide open. I mean, you're playing cards with your hands up. Everybody knows what you're working with here. And there's some damn good coaches in this league. So, you know, I think it's pretty I think it's pretty obvious what teams are doing and why they're doing it against Indiana. You're not going to stop them. The only way you're going to stop them is either, Juwan Morgan's just going to continue to get buckets through triple teams. Romeo's going to continue to have to cut through an incredibly crowded paint, or other guys are going to have to step up and start knocking down some outside shots in order to create some space right now. Because that's all teams are doing, is taking away space on Indiana inside, which is the only place they seem capable of scoring right now. But I think at the end of the day, any turnaround for this team is going to have to start on the defensive end. I mean, you look at the Northwestern game, for as much as they struggled at times, particularly in that middle third of the game, the thing that absolutely beat them was their inability to defend. You got a guy, a scrub, comes off the bench in foul zone. What do you have, like 6 points on the year? And the kid goes off for $1 million. I mean, just absolutely unchecked, even after he was clearly on fire, still somehow getting lost in defensive rotations. I mean, that's in no universe is that in any way acceptable when you're dealing with a guy like foul zone. But, they're going to have to defend. It's going to have to carry, even when the offense isn't clicking to start the games, especially. They have to defend at a high level. That's the only thing that this team can control right now is their effort. And it cannot be wavering on the defensive end. They're going to have to rededicate themselves to it. Again, I hate to be a broken record. We've said it before. If defending hard was easy, if defending well was easy, everybody would do it. But the fact of the matter is, it's not. And I do think that the defense has a very measurable role on this team's offensive output. And in a couple of regards, they're not getting transition buckets right now, which they absolutely have to have in order to compensate for the lack of outside shooting. But they cannot allow, tough defense to take their legs away from them to the point that the offense grinds to a halt. So they're going to have to find a balance in between where they can get some stops, they can get out in transition a little bit, but they can also find a way to keep themselves competitive even when the shot isn't falling and until somebody's able to start warming it up.
Yeah, they've got to get their mojo back in some form or fashion. They've got to either fire themselves up or something, but they've got to snap out of this, and nobody can do this for them. A lot of people complain that Archie's not demonstrative enough. He needs to pull guys out and rip them. And I've said that, hey, pull them out, just run the walk-ons in and whatever. But I don't know that you reach these guys like that. I really don't. I'm so befuddled by some of the stuff that I've seen. I'm kind of clueless. I'm like, I don't know what you do. Obviously, Archie can't get it done. Who the hell am I to think that I know?
I'll tell you what. I'm about at the end of my rope when it comes to IU fans and some of their Archie commentary right now. That's funny. Honest to goodness, laying it all out there. We're a year and a half into this guy's career here. Not making excuses, but let's just call a spade a spade. He's trying to cook with some stuff that he didn't necessarily go out and put together. He's totally trying to install an entirely different type of team here, one that's supposed to be defensive first, one that plays smart basketball. When you look at everything that he's brought to the table, I think by and large most fans agreed wholeheartedly that was going to be the recipe for fixing what was wrong with IU at the time that the program decided to make the change. And to think anything has changed in the last year and a half, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. Not only am I not buying it, look in the mirror. I mean, what's the problem with this team right now? He doesn't have the right pieces. Archie needs some guys that can score the basketball. Archie needs some guys that can show up night in, night out, and be ready to fight. I mean, he needs some dogs on this team in the worst way.
Michael Lewis, Dane Fife, those kinds of guys.
Oh, man, and if anybody thinks that the sky is falling, pants on fire fan base is what he needs in order to get to where he's trying to go.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but just cash me out on all of that. Keep it out of my timeline because I'm tired of hearing it. And honestly, for all these real fans, be mindful of what impression you're leaving on some of these kids. The way you respond to a little bit of adversity. Don't get me wrong. It's your Hoosier born birthright to talk basketball and to criticize what's not happening. At least not well.
How about the people that actually reach out to the players or on Twitter? And that drives me nuts.
That's a whole other class of jackwagon. These people that are at and the recruits that are at and the players that are directly mentioning families and tagging them. Just delete your account. I mean, honestly, it's everything that's awful about about sports fandom. Hoosier fans are renowned for being extremely intelligent. Let's act like we know how this thing works. It's one thing to go bonkers when you get a high-level recruit. It's a whole nother level when you're sitting here atting these families and atting these kids and talking trash. If you love the program, just stay off the keyboard.
It's
Seriously.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. What's the next edition of Mind Your Banners or any podcast of you guys coming out?
We got one cutting here later this afternoon. Sounds like we're going to be doing it remote. Stomach bug circulating around the Osterman family, so we should have one up here later today before Zach travels to New Jersey tomorrow. Go see if the Hoosiers can turn this thing around.
Certainly will. Make sure you check that out. Mind Your Banners with Chronic Hoosier and Zach Osterman. Follow, of course, Chronic Hoosier on Twitter at Chronic Hoosier. Brother, I appreciate you. Look forward to it.
Always. Stay warm, boys.
Thank you very much. Chronic Hoosier joins us as he does each and every week. And that episode of Mind Your Banners is out now, so you can check that out with Chronic Hoosier and Zach Osterman at I'm not sure where, so just check it out for just Google search Mind Your Banners. You'll find it. But we got a lot more coming up on the show today. Matt Weaver's in the next hour, and our special guest of the day, Maurice Creek. Can't wait. We're coming back with more on the Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
Now, teacher, don't you feel me? Up with your rules, or everybody knows that.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat on this frozen tundra of a day. My goodness gracious. It's just flat cold, folks. Not going to get a lot warmer either, is it?
Nope. Wear your hat and gloves.
I've got a hat and gloves on right now. I don't have gloves on, but I have not taken I put my jacket back on.
What's 68 in here?
Well, I went back outside for something. My phone says it's 12 degrees now. I highly doubt that. How's your day going? Hit us up on the text line. Comments, questions, 812-269-6367. Matt Weaver will be along in the next hour. A lot of offers going out, flying out the door I saw yesterday, man. Everywhere. I mean, Indiana's making a push. They only have I thought maybe 4 or 5 spots that they could even fill.
Now, is that all with high school seniors that haven't signed yet, or are there a number of transfer guys in there as well? Because there are a ton of names in the transfer portal.
Great question for Matt Weaver when he comes on here. But I think Indiana would be remiss if they didn't take advantage of some of those, because they have some instant needs, and we'll talk about that. But that belies mainly either on the line or the defensive side of the ball. But I think overall they're okay. Yeah. On the line, they need some stuff, and you can really do some work there through the grad transfer market, through the transfer portal. Much more quicker, obviously, than recruiting.
Yeah. I mean, because those guys are going to come in more ready to play than what a freshman would. You would think.
Well, of course, because most freshmen don't even play in football.
Sure.
But Indiana played a few last year. Man, I'm excited next year. The running backs. Cole Guest will be back. Stevie Scott, Ronnie Walker. Is Mike Majette gone?
I want to say he was a senior, yeah. No? Let me find that out. You didn't even mention Samson James. Might end up being the best of them all.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Then you got the guys that just came in, the freshmen, Samson James and the Ivory kid. They're running back. Well, but every time we say that, Indiana's deep in basketball, too. Oh, they're deep. Yeah. They're 12 deep. 12 deep.
Mike Majette will be back. He'll be a senior next year.
Well, we'll get a chance to talk about that with Matt Weaver. Hit us up on the text line. Any comments, questions, 812-269-6367. Thoughts, comments. Tonight, Indiana takes on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights up in Piscataway, New Jersey. They have to win this game. It's a must-win. There's no sugarcoating it.
How many must-wins is this in a row now?
That's a few. Well, no, Michigan wasn't a must-win. You didn't expect a win. You had hoped. You hoped for effort. You hoped to get what you didn't see. But so tonight, I want to see him come out and every pass is crisp. Every cut is crisp. Hustle. You hustle. You get down the floor. You lose a shoe, you keep playing. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't see it tonight, you don't see it at all. I mean, if there's a chance for this team to turn it around and still somehow make the NCAA tournament, it has to start tonight. Absolutely has to.
Well, yeah, because, number one, you're running out of time.
Right.
You're running out of opportunities because they still have to play Michigan State twice. They have to play Purdue again. As a matter of fact, we need to get the schedule pulled up to see exactly who all they play because I don't know. I can't remember if they play Maryland again.
They do not play Maryland again, no.
They have Wisconsin yet to go, and
Correct.
I think
but that's
at
home. It is, yep.
That helps. They have 6 out of their last 9 games are at home.
Yeah. You got to go to Minnesota and to Iowa and to Illinois.
Wow. That sets up for great, easy, perfect opportunities for wins.
You would think.
For most teams. But not this team. Illinois is one of the worst teams in the Big Ten, yet they pounded Maryland that beat Indiana already. Indiana actually played Maryland well. They lost Illinois on the road last year because they couldn't hit free throws. So we'll see. It's up to them, man. It's up to the players. It is up to the players, and people just got to stop. Stop with this nonsense. All the idiots talking about Archie Miller can't coach. Archie Miller, he's on. I'm so tired of you morons. Shut up. Shut up. Take your fingers off of your put your phone down. Just get away. Get away from it. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Do I know that Archie's going to be great? No. But what I do know is he's a year and a half in with a team of misfits as far as his system that absolutely not his type of players. And if you don't believe it, look what's on the court. You think Archie Miller's the reason these guys are not hustling on every play? That's his fault? No, it's not. Well, yeah, it is. It's his job to get... Nah, bull crap. It is to a degree as far as knowing what to do, but you can't make somebody do something.
Right.
They have to have the will to do it. We'll take him out and put in a walk-on. Well, okay, then get beat by 40 instead of 20. Well, I'd rather see him work. No, you don't. It's embarrassing. Just stop. I mean, just stop.
I mean, the walk-ons are undoubtedly going to work harder, but they won't produce.
No. Hell, you got guys that are on scholarship that aren't playing.
True.
There's a reason. There's a reason, guys. It's just back off. It's a year and a half in. You got to. It's this group. I mean, I think Don hit it on the head. These guys are. He said it without saying it. Archie has said it. These guys are soft. It's a soft team. They are soft. It's a soft generation, but these guys are particularly soft. And it's particularly aggravating.
Archie was asked on the coach's show on Monday night if what he needs to do. Does he need to change the structure? What needs to happen for this team to start gelling together and playing well like they did at the beginning of the season?
At the end of the day, a little bit of it is making some open shots when you have them. If you can make some open ones, it just eases the game. I think in general we got to get a couple guys more really defined on what they got to do to help us when it's in a situation. We got to run more. I mean, we have to run more. We're not getting enough runouts. We're not getting enough turnovers from our defense. We're not getting enough of the fast break plays that we're accustomed to getting. A lot of it starts with the other end of the floor. You got to really be dialed in on defense as well, because if your defense is really good and you're getting some stops, that's the easiest time hopefully to score. And we're not as active as we've been in the past. There's less forced turnovers. There's less steals. There's less breakout plays for us. And part of that is I think the teams obviously that we're playing are very good, but we're not being as disruptive as we have been in our time together. Even whether it was last year's team in January and February was able to create offense with their defense. And, so obviously you're working on both ends of the floor, but definitely in the half court, I think we have to obviously tweak some guys and do some things from that standpoint. But, making a couple open shots is going to help a little bit, and just finishing some easy ones too, some stick backs, making your free throws. All those things, they help you as you go through the course of a game when you're struggling. You go to the line, And, whether you're down or up and you go for 2, it's a deflator. Right away, that's almost like a turnover. So continuing to just find a way to get a little better in these little areas and whatnot. But I really believe that everything will take care of itself. Our attitude continues to be good, and our effort level continues to be really good every day, and we're able to play hard.
And Archie is, people have talked about Archie. He's not demonstrative. We talked about that. I talked about it with Don Fisher earlier in the week. Not everybody does that. Not everybody responds well to that. And I guarantee you, if this team is as soft as we can see that they are, do you think they're going to respond to that? I don't. I don't. I think that they go the other way. I mean, this is just an emotionalist group. Now, Archie's kind of emotionless.
A
little bit. I mean, I don't know if that rubs off at all, but this group is way emotionless. I mean, they are, and everybody knew Romeo coming in. He didn't. That's kind of how he was, but it's not that. It's the whole team. There's no excitement. No. It's the same. There's no ups and downs, which that's great again for making decisions and whatnot. But you've got to have some energy. Some giddy up. Don't see that.
Well, and this team hasn't always been void of energy. I mean, you saw it in the beginning stages of the season. They were playing energetic. They were trying hard. Now they seem lethargic for whatever reason.
Oh, they seem like they don't want to be there.
Right.
They seem like they're just going through. It's like watching a gym class going at 3/4 speed. I don't understand it. I can't grasp that. I mean, I'm obviously not a superior athlete, but whenever I played, whatever, I always wanted to win whatever I was doing, just because insecurities, I guess. But I was driven to win, try to win.
Competition mode.
Guys got the ball, I want it. I'm gonna block it, whatever. Lose a shoe, I don't care. I'll tackle you. It's whatever. You got to do what you got to do within the framework of the game to the maximum of your abilities. And that's the thing. I don't see these guys maximizing much of anything. No. There's no maximum effort. I think Archie could probably do some things different, but I'm not sure he knows what to do with this team, to be honest with you right now. But I saw something the other night, and you can't, this coach does this coach does that. Greg Popovich of the Spurs calls a timeout 16 seconds into the game. You know why? Because Thomas Bryant, playing for almost said the Bullets, for Washington, does a little pick and roll, wide open layup. Boom, timeout, Popovich, 16 seconds in. He's ripping his team. Of course, that's Pop. He's different. He's way different. But the calling the timeout the other night in the Michigan game, I'm like, 1 minute in, I'm like, call a timeout. Call. I think there's sometimes a drastic measure is called for, and maybe he's trying to let him play through things, but it didn't work out.
I'm going to give Archie a chance to defend himself because he was actually asked this question the other night, and Greg Popovich was brought up. And that whole situation, and why Archie did not call a timeout in that first few minutes of Michigan.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, you go through the deal where you're trying, obviously, to pace it where you can early in the game not blow one and try to get the game stopped right away. And the medias are also coming, so you have to look at that clock and say, hey, we got one media coming here in 25 seconds or whatever. But without question, a timeout really early moving forward is something that we got to address. Even in the second half, as you score the ball a little bit, call a timeout to obviously get your defense set. But, without question, our concerns when things get going out of whack is to get it under control somehow, form, or fashion, and a timeout definitely is a way to do it.
Yeah, well, they'll get the opportunity tonight. Do they get it straightened out? This is an opportunity. They have the chance. They're on the road against a team that they can beat, that they're better than. But Rutgers is not going to sit down. They want to win this game. As a matter of fact, the last time these two teams met was last year in the Big Ten tournament in New York. Rutgers beat Indiana. That team was so done playing. Is this team done playing? That's my concern. Last year's team was done at the Big Ten tournament. You could just tell.
This team seemed done for a while.
This team has seen something, all right. It's just been mind-boggling. But they have the opportunity tonight. And it's up to the players, man. It's up to the players. And whether they do or don't go on social media and just start ragging crap. I'm tired of it. You can talk about what we're doing right now, that they're in the ways that we're talking about, but they go nuts and it just keep going. Stop. I hope that they can manage to do it. I hope that they can give the effort. If nothing else, give the effort needed. Give the effort. Show some pride.
And that's the thing. Like, when you think about all the things you would want to see tonight with the team heading to Rutgers, besides a win, obviously, you've got to have the effort. And fans want to see that effort. They want to see players out there on the floor that look like they want to be there and that they're trying to win the game because, quite frankly, that's just what we haven't seen.
Yeah. It's been a crazy, crazy season. Yeah. Expectations were a little too high, and this team has underperformed. Way underperformed. So that's a bad combination. And then you throw in the injuries. It's a triple-headed monster. We got to take a break. Plenty more coming up on the show today. Our good buddy Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. We're going to talk a little football as Indiana's throwing offers out like candy. Mo Creek, former Hoosier on the hardwood, will join us as well from across the pond. More coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
And a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Hey, welcome along. Indiana Sports Beat's here for you on this very, very cold and chilly day. Jim Coyle sitting in with you. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you're doing. I hope you're staying warm, but thanks a lot for taking us along. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Hope it's a little warmer up there than it is down here, and we've got to warm your day up. Hopefully, we got a lot on the program. Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. We're going to talk a little bit of football as Indiana's sending out a lot of offers here of late as they go down the tail end of the signing period coming up. Also on the program today, Maurice Creek, former IU great on the hardwood, will join us from across the pond. Let's get to the headlines right now with Justin.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines on this 30th day of January 2019. Anthony Davis fined $50,000 for his trade demand. In Big Ten action last night, Michigan defeated Ohio State 65-49, Maryland over Northwestern 70-52, and Wisconsin beats Nebraska 62-51. Indiana men's basketball gets set to take on Rutgers tonight at 7. That game in New Jersey. Those are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this January 30th, 2019. For more information, go to thedailyhoosier.com.
Absolutely, and can't wait to talk to Maurice Creek, see how his season's going across the pond, and see his thoughts on Indiana tonight. They take on the Scarlet Knights up in Piscataway, New Jersey. A must-win for Indiana as they take on Rutgers on the road, because the next game up is on the road in East Lansing, and that's just one of two games they have yet to play against Michigan. If they have any chance, any hope of salvaging this season, it starts tonight. And it's up to the players to do that. It's on them. It is on the players to play, to do what they're supposed to do, to give the effort, and we'll see what they do.
Love to have Mo Creek back.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if we could run some of those guys out there. Mo Creek, Jordan Holes.
Mo
Leary.
Creek, actually, by the way, you'll have to ask him about this, was named an All-Star this week.
Remind me of that.
The league he's playing.
Don't let me forget that. Hey, hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Any comments, questions? If you got comments or questions for Mo Creek or Matt Weaver coming up, you can send those in as well. Let us know what your thoughts and comments are. So, but Indiana heading up to Piscataway tonight, I think this is the game that again, I keep saying, this is all on the players. I mean, Archie Miller has his job to do. He has to prepare them to give the knowledge. We don't know. We're not in practice. I'm assuming Archie's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Of course he is. So that the rest falls on the shoulders of the players giving effort. And that's where we are.
Tim texted into the show, that last segment said, it's like 5 Romeos on the floor, no emotion.
Yeah.
If only it was like 5 Romeos skill-wise.
Well, if they all had different skills, yes. that they all had a skill in a specific set, like a three-point shooter, a post player. But it is what it is. What do you think the problem is? What do you think that has to change? It's a personnel issue. I mean, I'm sorry. It's a personnel issue. Obviously, the players that were there before, with the exception of, say, Juwan Morgan and Al Durham, not providing much. Not much there. Everybody keeps saying Indiana's loaded with talent. Really? Are they? Where is this talent they're loaded with? Yes, they've got Romeo Langford. And they've got Juwan. After that, what do you got? Where are they killing people with this loaded with talent? Oh, you mean the guys that are hurt on the bench? They're not loaded. Well, how are they loaded? We had high hopes that the pieces would
we once thought they were loaded.
Fold in to Juwan and to Romeo. We thought that Fitzner was going to be able to hit a three-point shot. When you shoot 42% for a career, that maybe you can hit more than one in a month. How many has he even attempted in the last month?
5.
I have no idea.
I would be hard pressed to believe it's any more than, say, 10. He doesn't shoot.
It's because he's not hitting. Nobody is. What has happened? Why can't this team shoot the ball at all? Three-point shooting is not that difficult, I didn't think. It's everybody else seems to be doing it okay. Did they not do this in high school? Surely they did. But, of course, a lot of these guys didn't have to do that in high school because, again, they're all the best players on their team. They just drove the ball, I guess.
I mean, I'll take one for the team. I've got 4 years of eligibility, and I can shoot the rock. Now, I don't know how many guys I'll get it off over, but
yeah,
leave me open like they're leaving Indiana open.
Yeah, Muggsy, I don't know if that's going to work out for you or not.
Muggsy without the speed.
I don't know if they got a spot for you or not. Little Muggsy Bogue's going to put up some threes for the Hoosiers. Man, if they put those shorts on you, they'd look like they'd be down to your shins.
I don't know. They give me OG shorts. I think they might fit.
I was going to say they've shortened up. They're not like they used to be.
Tim texts in and says, we need a former player to come in and speak to them, like Oladipo. And that's a point he brought up yesterday as well on the text line. Just couldn't get to it. Said Oladipo used to be an honorable free throw shooter, and he turned it, or a horrible free throw shooter, and he turned it around. Maybe since he is not playing, he can come spend some time with our team and help them out on their free throw problems.
He wasn't a good 3-point shooter when he got to Indiana either.
And he left a pretty dang good one.
You're damn right. He left a pretty great everything. But you know why? Because he was a gym rat. Yeah. He worked at it. He was coachable.
Had to get a new key card for the workout facility.
Wore it out. That's the difference. That's why he's playing in the NBA doing what he's doing today. Effort. Crazy effort. He didn't come here with that kind of talent. Hell, what was he? Was he a 4-star? Was he even a 4-star or was he a 3-star?
No, he was a fringe between a 2 and a 3-star.
See? And it was a number 2 pick in the NBA draft because he worked his ass off. He worked his ass off. He struggled and he shot and shot and shot and just shot more and became a very good 3-point shooter, an unbelievable driver, finisher, athletic beyond belief.
But that's the thing with Oladipo is something that Archie's been preaching all season. It's got to start with defense. And when you look back at Oladipo's career at Indiana, it absolutely started with defense. That was his bread and butter before he got confident shooting the ball.
Bill texts in, all the IU players played in leagues where everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's signing petitions. You can hit us up on that text line, 812-269-6367. Mo Creek is on the program today, as is Matt Weaver. If you got any comments for those guys, questions, fire them along. We'll get them off to them. Mo Creek's playing across the pond over in Europe. Doing very well. Just named an all-star. He lights it up in that league, though. I remember at one point he was leading. Hell, he was even leading blocks at one time, I think. I'm like,
we'll have to check in on that.
I'm
see
like,
how
come
he is
on,
now.
man, really? It's like he's a guard. He's killing you on blocks. Dude is just killing it.
There's another guy who plays with all his heart every game he played in college.
And he does it now. He
And
plays
now,
with all of his heart over in Europe. No IU fans, no adoring American fans, but playing with heart. And that's a great point to bring up, and I look forward to talking to Mo about that. Because that just came natural to those guys. They were just competitors. Todd Leary, we talk to him about it all the time. They're competitors. Jordan Hulls, you could see it on their faces. They were competitors. They wanted to win. And they were going to do what it took to get that victory. What the hell has happened? Is this just this group of kids that they have? Because the other teams are competing.
I think that's the issue. I mean, these guys want to win. Absolutely, they want to win.
Do they?
But they don't want to.
Wait a minute. Do they?
Let me.
Wait. How do you know that they do?
Here's the because everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to take the time to do what it takes to get those wins. And I think that's where the issue is with this team. They don't want to do what it takes to get there.
Then to me, you don't want to win.
In your head, you're like, yeah, it'd be great to win, but if you don't put in the work,
I'd like for someone to give me $1 million, but if I don't do anything to get to it, what's that?
I mean, it's not a crazy mindset.
I'd like to have a bigger bank account, but just wanting it, you can wish in one hand and
do whatever in the other.
Spit in the other. See which one fills up first. Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, you can't say if you want to win, then act like you want to win. Play like you want to win. Because I got news for you. Not is guaranteeing one thing. You ain't going to win. They are frustrated. They are, I mean, this is a first for these guys. Romeo's never dealt with this. He's lost more games than he's lost in his entire high school career. He's not accustomed to this. Do these guys know how to handle adversity?
Good question.
I mean, Rob Fennessy's not used to this. He played on a good team. We got to take a break. Plenty more coming up on the show. Like I said, Matt Weaver from Peaks.com is with us. We're going to talk about a lot of potential football signees for Indiana. Also, Maurice Creek's on the show today. We'll be back. Indiana Sports Beat right after this. This is Jim Poyle, and I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you can fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. You betcha. You know what that means. Dreaming of Matt Weaver, Peaks.com. How are you, friends?
I'm doing okay. How you guys doing?
Great, great. Trying to stay warm, brother. It is chilly.
Yeah, it's a bit brutal. Our kids are all at home today from school because they canceled school because it's too cold.
Yeah, we were having that discussion earlier, but fun days. I don't recall getting school when I was in college having school canceled because it was closed. But I saw that they're circulating a petition yesterday, which kind of made me laugh. I'm like, I think they know whether or not they should cancel school. They don't need a petition to tell them that.
Yeah, when I was at IU, they almost never canceled school. It almost took basically a blizzard. So I think they actually called off classes today because it's so cold at IU. So that's it's rare. It happens very rarely.
Yeah, it does. I remember being cold as hell up there, but it is what it is. A lot of offers I've seen going out the door, Matt, as they head into this signing period coming up. But it seems like an abundance of offers have been flying out the door for Indiana.
Yeah, it's kind of that time of the year. I mean, obviously you're finishing up, the 2019 class, signing day is a week from today. Next week, this is upcoming weekend's the last weekend for official visits for the 2019 class, at least before signing day. And in the past, when you only had the one signing day, a lot of schools would send out a ton of offers right around signing day or on signing day. Now, with two, it's changed a little bit, but yeah, it's just, coaches are out on the road. They're able now. They can talk to 19 kids. So guys that are signing now, 20 and 21 guys, they can just kind of watch them, like, maybe go watch them work out or just see them walk by in the hallway at their school or whatever it may be. But this is the time where you go out and you kind of see them, you eyeball them. You maybe watch them in another sport if they're playing basketball or something, and you start sending those offers out. So it's kind of that time of the year. Everybody's kind of handing out the offers, kind of like they're candy. So it's just where we're at.
And I know they've got some needs on the line on both sides of the ball. Are they going to try to fix those needs via the possibly going through the trade portal? Not trade portal. It's basically a trade portal, transfer portal, or grad transfer route. How do you see the best way that they're going to address those needs?
Well, on the O-line, I don't think so, because the reason being is, you've already got 4 seniors. When you look at taking an O-line class, 4 is a lot. 4, and they're at what, 2 or 3 right now. They're going to take a couple more. If you get up to like 5 or 6 O-linemen, and if you had a grad transfer, while it does help you for a year, it's more or less a Band-Aid. They really need to replenish their O-line with guys that are going to be in Indiana for more than one season. So I don't see it as likely for that. I do see it possibly on the D-line if they don't get one of the 2 guys that they want. They're down to Christian Williams from Tennessee and Latrell Jean, who visited this past week, and he's from Lakeland, Florida. 2 good prospects. Williams is the preferred guy, but they would be more than happy if Jean is the guy they end up taking. So, right now I would say it's unlikely they take a grad transfer, because I think they're in good enough shape with the linemen at the high school ranks that they'll be able to fill their spots. But you never know. If you have to, you have to. But right now, I wouldn't say there's a high probability of that happening.
Well, we'll certainly look forward to it. I know that now that Indiana has their offensive coordinator in place and that everything is moving forward in that direction now, Indiana can really start implementing, I don't know, I guess a new offense, but it will be a new offense to a certain degree no matter what. There's probably going to be a different terminology, but he's going to bring a lot of different things to this offense that they didn't have last year. What's the best part of what you think the changes or additions may be for this IU team?
Well, from watching a little bit of Fresno State on film, we talked a little bit about it, but he does do some things. We talked a lot about Matt Canada as a potential candidate for, up until the point when they made the hire. And one of the things I like about what Coach Canada does is the pre-snap motion. Because I think in college football, when guys don't get to spend as much time on the practice field like they maybe do in the pros because of the rules on practice, some of that stuff can be hard for defensive teams to kind of adjust to. And Kalen DeBoer, he doesn't do it as much as Canada, but he does some pre-snap stuff. He really gets the tight ends involved. I like how he spreads the ball around in the passing game. I think that's probably the biggest thing we'll see different. We talked about a lot last year. There was a lot of check down Charlie with the Indiana offense. Not a ton of throws. They threw some go routes, but not really anything in between. Those maybe like deep crossing routes or deep out routes. Stuff like that. We assume the quarterback could be different, so that definitely helps. But I think just the creativity, the way he spreads the ball around. They had a guy on their team, I don't know his name, but kind of like a little running back who also uses a slot receiver. They got the ball to him. You see a guy like that, and I see a Walt Fillion or a Cole Guest, a guy who you can do those kind of things with. You can play him at receiver some. You maybe put him in the backfield and hand the ball to him. So, he's got weapons on the outside, and Westbrook and Hale. He's got slot guys. He's got some tight ends. Obviously, running back is a strong position, and then quarterback should be improved. So I think there's pieces there for Coach DeBoer to work with, and it'll be interesting in spring to see how he starts to put it together.
Yeah, there were several games last year which they just going into it we thought were going to be opportunities, but Indiana just not even in the game. Like the Iowa game was one that really comes to mind, and it was because offensively they were just inept, unable to do anything, and didn't change. I think that DeBoer will be able to give them the chance to actually compete and win those type of games.
Yeah, I agree, and there was another game to me, at least in the first half, was Minnesota. Offensively, it was a very poor showing. The Bucket game, physically they really handled Purdue, but they didn't have anything going offensively. I mean, the difference in that game was basically 2 or 3 plays on offense by Purdue that Indiana didn't have. A couple big passing plays was really the difference in that game. Indiana, as far as up front, did a pretty good job, and same thing with Penn State. Although obviously we talked about that was more of a special teams issue that game, but still, the lack of explosive plays, which Coach Allen has talked about. It came back to bite them. They just didn't have enough explosive plays. They didn't have enough games where they were really, they were really challenging teams down the field. And you got to have that. And they have 2 quarterbacks now that I think can do that. And obviously Michael Penix will be coming back from injury, and then the new guy Jack Tuttle. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The weapons are there. I mean, and they're adding more. So, they have some skill guys to make plays. Now it's just fit them in Coach DeBoer's system and getting them into those places to be successful.
How long do you think will be before we hear anything on Tuttle and his efforts to become eligible next season?
I would guess we'll probably hear something during spring ball. I mean, there's still. I mean, I'm assuming the way they'll go about it is that. They'll practice him like they expect him to be eligible, because that just makes sense. I mean, he's only going to be one of 2 scholarship quarterbacks who's going to be fully cleared for spring ball, him and Peyton Ramsey. Penix will practice some, as Coach Allen said, but he's not going to be for like full team stuff. He won't be ready for that. He won't be cleared for that, but he'll get to do some things, at least to stay kind of, knock some of the rust off and stay a little bit sharp. But I mean, everything I've heard is they're pretty confident he's going to be cleared, but, until the NCAA tells you, it's kind of hopefulness right now instead of, obviously knowing. But I would guess at some point during spring, we'll hear on that. And with how some of these, in the last year or two, these guys have been getting cleared, I would think there's a pretty good shot that he'll be eligible to play right away.
That's going to be great news for Indiana. That will give them a couple of different options that will be pretty good at quarterback, and puts them in a much, much better position at that position than they were last year. And it also will give them different options to go against different defenses. I think that there may be times where Penix may be a better option than, say, Tuttle or Tuttle versus Penix against a specific team. I don't know, but I think it's just a great option to have if you're Indiana.
Yeah, well, here's the biggest thing. I mean, excuse me. Let's face it. There's very few humans in this world who can self-motivate themselves and push themselves to the limit without competition. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just tough to do. And so, the more competition, the better competition you have, the better everybody is come Saturday. And that's what Jack Tuttle does. He elevates the competition in that room tremendously. I mean, I don't know if you could elevate it any more than, with any other player. I mean, he's a really, really good quarterback, and he's going to push those other guys, especially a Michael Penix. I mean, he's going to push that guy. He's a young kid, a lot of talent, probably still needs to improve on his preparation and things he does like that, like all guys his age need to. That's not any different than anybody else. But it's, going against a guy who's as talented as him in a lot of respects is going to make him better. It's going to force him to work harder. It's going to force everybody to work harder. So, that to me is the biggest thing. Is they just had to, and I said that all year, you got to increase the competition in that room, just like you got to do in every position group. And this staff is doing that across the board with the way they're recruiting.
Absolutely, and I'm amazed at the efforts from a recruiting standpoint that Indiana has made under Tom Allen. He has done an unbelievable job for someone to come in with not having any experience as a collegiate head coach. He has done an unbelievable recruiting job for Indiana, one of the best that they've ever had.
Yeah, and like I always say, it starts with obviously the head coach, because even though you have guys named the recruiting coordinator, the head coach is the recruiting coordinator. He sets the plan. He sets the vision of what they're looking for in players. Now, obviously, the assistants have a big say-so in that, and for obvious reasons, because they got to coach those guys. And then the assistants, they're kind of the foot soldiers. They get out on the road and they do a lot of the leg work, because the head coach only gets one home visit per recruit, so you can only go into a kid's home one time as the head coach. So it's important that the assistants, kind of lay the groundwork and have that foundation so that when he shows up, all he has to do is kind of be the closer. And this staff does a great job. I mean, everybody involved in recruiting really does a phenomenal job, and it's showing up. I mean, considering they've had 2 seasons where have been disappointing by a lot of people's standards, and coming off 2 bowl seasons, but they've put together 2 really good recruiting classes under Tom Allen, and that's why if you get to a bowl game, I think recruiting can take off even more and really become really pretty special. At least nothing that we've seen in the days of Indiana football in the past.
No, it looks like it's the future looks bright for Indiana. I mean, it's hard to say that after the last couple of years, but with what's going on, I think that you have to think that, and it's a great sign for what Tom Allen is trying to do there. And I got to tell you, if he's able to get this done, wow, what a remarkable job to be able to do it from you talk about it from the bottom up. I mean, he did go from the bottom up. He was elevated to head coach in the Big Ten way before many expected that to be a reality, but yet he is managing this. Struggled through probably the first year or 2, making some mistakes and learning, but he's definitely making some great inroads for this program.
Yeah, and one comparison I've heard, and I think it's a fair one. Now it's early on, but people look at Mark Stoops at Kentucky. He started out the same way, came in defensive guy. They went like 5-7. It was 3 or 4 years. After about the 4th season, they were clamoring for. And Kentucky obviously is a lot like Indiana. It's a school where everything revolves around the basketball program, and so football's always kind of been on the back burner. But they were clamoring for him to be gone. They were recruiting at a high level, but it hadn't translated. And the school showed patience. Now, I'm not saying we have to wait 4 or 5 years. I'm just saying as far as Indiana goes, Indiana fans, but. It's not a completely dissimilar situation, and it shows what can happen if you give. To me, you need a coach needs, basically, especially at a place like Indiana, you really need 4 years because you need that first recruiting class to see what he can do. It's not like basketball where 1 or 2 guys can turn around a program, or maybe even just 1 or 2 classes. It takes 4 classes because you got to develop these guys. Football is the ultimate team sport. You got to develop those linemen, and it takes some time. And I'm not saying Tom Allen's going to make it happen or he's not. I'm just saying you got to give him a little bit of time to see what he can do. At Indiana, we've had the revolving door of coaches, and it's not worked out. The trajectory seems to be headed on the right path. They got to start getting wins. There's no doubt about it. You got to start showing it on the field, but they're definitely showing it in every other area. And I think at some point the wins will come. And hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think that next year is a season that there will be a little pressure on Tom Allen now. He's done a great job and done a great job recruiting. But I think there will be some pressure next year after 2 back-to-back 5-7 seasons to get over that hump and get back to bowl eligibility with all the good things that are happening. But we'll see how that happens down the road. But you're right. You've got to give him time. We see that right now with the fans on social media and Archie Miller, only a year and a half into the job with 1 recruiting class, how they're going nuts, which is absolutely ridiculous. Basketball is a lot faster than football to fix, but not that fast. So patience is obviously not the virtue for a lot of Indiana fans, unfortunately.
Yeah, and not to get into basketball too much, but it's a clunky roster. I mean, I'm not absolving, the coaching staff for all blame. Obviously, they probably, thought they or probably wish they would have done some things different this year with this team. I would guess, knowing coaches, but it's a clunky roster. I mean, it was. I don't know how the former coach thought he was going to win with a team that couldn't shoot threes when his whole offense was based on chucking the ball from deep every time. So
exactly.
It's an amazingly poor recruiting job by the former staff, thinking that they could make this work, but. It is what it is, and hopefully they get it fixed, get it turned around. And I think they got Rutgers, I believe, tonight, so hopefully they can get a win and maybe get things back on track with the basketball program.
Absolutely. Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. I can't thank you enough. Always, brother. Thank you. Have a great week. Stay warm.
Okay, you too, guys.
Matt Weaver, Pigs.com, joins us each and every week. Brought to you by our good friends from Reynolds Family Dentistry, right here in Sellersburg. Let Doctors Jay and Roger Reynolds take care of your family. They've been doing it for Southern Indiana families for over 30 years. Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. We're back with more on Indiana Sports Beat. Mo Creek's up next. Stay tuned.
And here I go again on
This is Jim Coyle, but I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch specials. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. We're back. Speaking of Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, tonight after the ball game, Indiana takes on Rutgers. Make sure you show up to watch the game. And afterwards, after the game with Todd Leary. Recording live at Bubba's 33. In Clarksville. Join us for that broadcast. Todd Leary will be in the house, so make sure you show up and have a good time with us. But that ball game starts at 7. If you can't make it out, make sure you're listening to it. You can listen to it right here on Big X. Pre-game will start at 6 with Don Fisher, but we'll be out at Bubba's as well. After the game, you can listen dailyhoosier.com and indianasportsbeat.com. Mo Creek is with us. Mo, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, man. You're killing it over in the Ukraine, but you're killing it. Every time I look, you're just leading all the categories and just playing with the most abundance of spirit, it seems like. How is that possible when you're so far away from home, but yet, man, that drive that we all so used to seeing from you is just still there, night in, night out. How's that? How do you do that?
It's just a business. I try to take it as that every day, no matter where I'm at. And, I love the game. It doesn't matter if I'm playing in Ukraine or the States. I try to play my heart out every day and try to be there for the guys that I'm with as my teammates.
And I know it's not about individual things for you, but when you look at all the different categories that you're either leading or at the top of, and some of them, like before, it was like blocks. I'm like, wow, he's a guard. He's killing them on everything. But does that just continue to motivate you just from a personal standpoint?
Of course. I want to be the best player that I can be, offensively and defensively. And, I feel like if I am doing that, then we have a greater chance of winning the games. And, I just taking it to a point to be the best player that I can be every day, because I know the guys are going to do the same for me. And as long as we're on the same page, we'll win the games that we need to win.
And, well, it's certainly working. And enjoy following everything. If you don't, make sure you follow him on Facebook because he has a lot of things on there about what the comings and goings over. Just recently named an All-Star, of course. You're probably the most valuable player in that league, it seems like. But congratulations on being an All-Star as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you been able to follow Indiana this year much?
Yeah, I've followed a couple of games. They look pretty good. Of course, there's some games that I feel like they should have won and everything like that. But it's a learning experience, especially for the guys just getting in as freshmen. Coach Miller's been doing a good job. Those guys, I know they're gonna have a couple of more games that they can win, and they're still learning. I feel like they're still learning, trying to get to know each other a little better and everything. And I know it's a couple of the guys as leaders on that team that's going to try to motivate them to be the best players that they can be. So let's just give them some time and see what happens from here on out.
And I think that there's a lot of fans that don't really understand how difficult it is. You were part of a movement that really helped re-elevate Indiana basketball back to what it used to be. You guys came in and took a program that was down and really brought life to it. And they're trying to get back to that again. And this particular year has not gone as well. And a lot of times where we watch you guys play, you all always played to win. You could tell the heart was there, the effort was there. There's been a lot of comments from the fans about that, not seeing that kind of effort from this team. Are the players? It's not the players are not that different now, are they? I mean, everybody still plays hard to win, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think it has a thing to do about effort. I think the effort is there. I just think, it's different coming from high school to college. I mean, even people that's been in college, it's different when new people come into your team. And that's what fans need to really understand. It's not as easy just to say, oh, you should just come out here and win the game, because that's what everybody thinks. Everybody, is going to come out there with their best efforts to win the game and stuff like that. And college is very difficult. You're getting the best of the best players every day from different areas and everything like that, different motives, everything. So, again, like I said, for the Indiana fans, I would just say, we've been in these tough times before and have rebuilt this program. It just comes with time, and impatience is not the way to go about it. As long as you're being patient with your program and giving them the support and stuff like that, they're going to fight for you just like you're going to fight for them. But people who are impatient just don't really understand what we have to go through as players, night in, night out. It's not even just about basketball, getting up, going to class, weight room, all this other stuff that we have to do. As far as basketball players, we're doing it for ourselves and the fans. So, just be patient, and it will come to the light.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hoosier Nation hasn't had a lot of patience this year, unfortunately, and they should. Archie only a year and a half in. He's got one recruiting class. As a player, how difficult is his job? He had a group that was recruited by a coach you played for, Tom Crean, but it's a completely different style of play. So he's going to recruit a different style of kid that Archie does. And so now Archie's got all those guys left over, and it's one class of his. How difficult is it to blend two completely different styles like that and make it a workable team?
It's very difficult. I think other than the players, the head coach has the most difficult, because you got to recruit for the players that you want. And when you come into a new program with the players that were just left there at the end, now you got to fill out, what they do and stuff like that. And you really wasn't looking towards that. You were looking towards to get your own players and everything like that. So I feel like he has a tough job, especially because you're in a predominant program where you can be on the hot seat in a minute if you're not winning games and stuff like that. And that's why I say it's more so about time, because when you give somebody time and they can develop their program to how they want to develop it, then you see the winning come about. But when you put somebody on a hot seat, like I've seen before with a lot of coaches, not just in Indiana, but a lot of coaches in the NCAAs or whatever, and not really giving them the time, then it was all wasted for nothing. But that just comes from fans just like complaining about not winning as much, not giving the effort as much and stuff like that. And now your job is on the line. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's very tough for the head coach.
And then as a player, I think if you were a freshman, and I know that the times are different now. Social media is so crazy, especially when things are going. Indiana's in the middle of a 6-game losing streak, so it's really not been kind. But when you're a freshman and you're trying to navigate, you go from high school to now you're into the big leagues, man. The Big Ten is, and especially this year of all years, is even tougher. But you've really gone from the pressure into the pressure cooker. You're into the fire now. And how difficult is it to navigate all that and then to go through a season like they're going through and have all the social media stuff going like it is, crazy like that? How much more harder does it make as a freshman player to deal with that stuff?
It's actually really crazy now. I mean, when I was a freshman coming to Indiana, it was crazy, but it wasn't as crazy as it is now. I mean, you can't even go eat without somebody tweeting or, you know what I'm saying, tweeting something like, oh, we seen him going to this area or this, you know what I mean? And it's just, now you can somewhat feel some type of pressure, because you're trying to build the expectations for not just yourself, but for the others that put that pressure on you. Just take it for example, Romeo Langford. You know, he's a McDonald's All-American. Everybody expects him to be the superstar. Once he gets in, and, you know, we don't know, not saying we didn't know that he was going to be a great player or not, but what I'm saying is some people just don't pan out like that. Now, granted, he is panning out like that. You know, he's having a predominant year. I really feel like he's a very talented kid. But just imagine if you're that and you don't come in and do as well as you thought you were doing. Now everybody putting you on the hot seat as a player, and I don't think that's fair. I think, you know, some people just need some time to grow, but the social media is just that builds it up to the hot seat, because it's so many people that tweet about this stuff every day or put it on Facebook or put it on Instagram every day, and it's like these kids are now seeing that, and it's like they really getting nervous. And, you know, some people have the mindset to basically like wave it off, like, oh, okay, like I see this stuff, but that doesn't matter for me. It matters only if I know I'm doing well enough, or it matters to me to make myself better or something like that. But some kids, they actually take that stuff to heart, because, you know, like if they see all that stuff, they feel like, oh, that's the waste, that's taking their time making it to the league. You know what I mean? You don't know who's looking at that stuff. You don't know who's watching. You don't never know. And now that they got this nasty stuff about him, like, oh, he's not really shooting well, or he don't play defense well, or something like that. And scouts see that, now that might have deteriorated his chances of going to the league. It's just crazy now.
Yeah, it's a lot of, and there's a lot of added pressure when someone like Romeo. Romeo comes in, and you mentioned it. The expectations go very, very high because he is a great talent, but they expect that the entire team is going to all of a sudden be great, and that's not turning out to be the case this year for a number of reasons. Some of it is personnel, different personnel, but they've had a lot of injuries, and it's just not working out to be where they're a top 5 team, but that doesn't mean that Romeo's any less of a player, but yet it's a lot of pressure is put on his shoulders to do that.
Right.
How much difficult does that make it his job to continue playing as a freshman, and to also have that kind of weight on your shoulders?
It's a lot of pressure. Again, going back to when I was a freshman, nobody knew what to expect, but then when they seen me had a game against Kentucky or whatever, now they expected me to just have that from there on out. And I was saying that stuff on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Well, Instagram really wasn't big back then, but Facebook and Twitter was booming after that. You know what I mean? It's definitely added pressure. Now you got NBA Billboard saying, "Oh, he might be a top 5 pick," and once you have this one bad game or something like that, you can just drop off their radar. And it's that right there that can put pressure on a freshman to make sure he's doing extra well. Like, okay, now I gotta make sure I get 17 points a game. Okay, make sure I get these rebounds, or make sure I get these type of blocks or steals and stuff like that. And it's like, when you're doing that, you're not only adding pressure to yourself, you kind of taking yourself away from the team as far as mindset and as far as like just mentally, because now you're forgetting what you got to do as far as a play. Now you're forgetting the defensive schemes and all that other stuff because you're thinking about what you need to do to make it to the next big level, instead of just playing the game and being relaxed and stuff like that. And I had to have some talks with my family about this type of stuff too. Like, I just felt like I was tensed up because I was playing well, and then I would have one bad game, and then I would feel like I had to make up for that bad game instead of just playing and having fun.
Maurice Creek, I can't thank you enough. What's the temperature over in the Ukraine right now, out of curiosity? In Fahrenheit?
Well, if it was in Fahrenheit, I think it would be like 2 degrees right now, 3 degrees.
Okay, you got us beat. It's 11 here, man. I feel like I'm in the Ukraine. I feel like we're doing this beside each other. But Maurice Creek joining us live from the Ukraine. I can't thank you enough. When's your All-Star game?
It was last weekend. We played it already. It was a fun event. They had me in the skills challenge. I wish I would have been in the 3-point competition, but they had one of my teammates in that, and it was just fun. And it's good to see all my guys, and as far as the Americans and even the Ukrainians that I built a relationship with over here. It was good to play against those guys. And, yeah, it was a fun event. I'm just fortunate. I'm glad that obviously an all-star, named the all-star. I could build that on my resume now. And we have a game today at 6:30 our time, and we're just gonna keep building on this winning streak that we have here today. And now we're back to our regular jobs.
Perfect. Maurice Creek, I can't thank you enough. Congratulations and good luck on the season. We'll keep up with you and check out, and I hope you guys pull in the championship, Mo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maurice Creek joining us live from the Ukraine. Appreciate him joining us as always. Mo Creek, a recent All-Star over in Ukraine, former Hoosier baller. Always great to have Mo on the program. Great insights today. But make sure tonight, Indiana's taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. That game will be broadcast, of course, here on Big X Sports Radio. You can hear Don Fisher on the call. Pre-game's at 6. Post-game show with Todd Leary. Jim Coyle is going to be at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville if you guys want to come out and join us for that. Looking forward to that after the game with Todd Leary, so looking forward to that.
Snow will be melted by then.
You think?
Yeah.
Let's hope so. The snow might be, but I don't think it's going to be much warmer.
No.
Hey, they got warmth inside of there. I'll just be warm inside of Bubba's. But looking forward to it. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville for the post-game show tonight with Todd Leary, after the game with Todd Leary. we'll be there for that. But that's going to pretty much wrap it up for us today. Thanks a lot for joining us. We had Mo Creek on the show and Matt Weaver. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.